There's a room somewhere.
My number 10 movie came out around the time I was born. Occasionally it falls out of the bottom spot, but always seems to reappear. And I'm not crazy about the ending with Eliza going back to Henry and Henry reverting to his old ways. But I suppose love bears all things.
I could have danced all night.
I love the songs. Audrey Hepburn keeps this one on my list, and I like that the assistant director on the picture's name is David Hall. I used to watch this movie late at night on TV and was excited when it came out on VHS, only to discover Universal had edited out some of my favorite shots so they could get it to fit on a 90-minute cassette. Thankfully, the DVD's been restored. I love Bruce Dern in this film. I love Joan Baez singing the end title. And I always think about Dewey still being out there somewhere, tending to Earth's last garden. Not only is this the best Star Trek movie ever made, it's a great movie on its own. William Shatner gives his best performance ever as Captain Kirk. Ricardo Montalban is flawless. The soundtrack is perfect, and some of the greatest dialogue of all time. I have been, and always shall be, your friend. The Fellowship of the Ring did what I thought no movie could ever do, bring Tolkien to life in a compelling way on the screen. Ian McKellen is great. The writers changed what they had to change to make it work and left the rest alone. I love the Hobbit's theme. I can put it on, and almost immediately from the next room, Joanna will shout, "Frodo!" My best friend Chris Freeland and I saw a sneak preview of this movie. I guess it's nearly been 30 years ago, and I still believe what I believed that night. Raiders of the Lost Ark is the greatest action movie ever made. It's so great that I overlook things that normally would bug me, like how did Indy and Marion get untied at the end? How'd they get off the island? This is another movie I first saw with Chris, and apparently an entire history class as well at the UA Hewlin in Fort Worth. I remember after Jeff Daniels' first speech, I was ready to get up and fight too. This is the best Civil War movie ever made, and probably that ever will be made in my lifetime. I think it's another great example of how a movie made from a book has to change, but only to a certain point. The first time I remember seeing this movie was in Hollywood at the premiere of the special edition. I was 24, I think, and got sick that night and ended up with the measles. The first half of this movie, original or revised, is perfect. Peter O'Toole should have won an Oscar. If I ever direct again, I'll watch this film before the first day of shooting, for sure. My top 3 movies haven't changed in 30 years. I'd never seen anything like The Godfather. I can still study this movie after decades and learn something, or I can sit back and just enjoy it. I can't think of another film where the writing, directing, and acting come together so seamlessly. The sequel is even better, but not as nostalgic for me. I was a freshman in high school on May 21st, 1980, and my senior pal, David Whitley, convinced me to cut my first and only day of school, and we went to see the premiere of The Empire Strikes Back at the Ridgely Theater in Fort Worth, Texas. I've never heard anyone in my generation disagree that this is the best Star Wars movie. The relationships are real. Frank Oz's Yoda puppet will always look better than the new digital Yoda. This is the greatest science fiction fantasy film ever made, and every year on May 21st, I raise a glass to my late friend David Whitley and relive the memories of that day in the balcony at the Ridgely. This has been my favorite movie since middle school at least. I simply never get tired of watching the scenes. I could watch it right now and watch it again tomorrow. I grew up dreaming that one day I'd have a girlfriend as true as Homer's girlfriend Wilma. I never dreamed I'd end up marrying a girl even truer. It was great when I showed Joanna the movie for the first time and told her about the dream I'd had all those years. I can watch this movie with her today and feel like right now are the best years of our lives.